Thomas's Christmas Carol is a collection of Thomas and Friends episodes, and this was originally released in 2015. There is actually apparently a difference between the American and Canadian release and the UK and Australian release. The UK and Australian release is actually apparently quite a bit longer with a couple of extra episodes. I actually watched the US version, so I can't comment on all of them. If anybody knows why the UK and Australian release was longer, please feel free to let me know. I'd be quite interested to learn more about that. But today I'm just going to be talking about a couple of episodes, and I'm not going to go into too much detail about each episode specifically because I will at some point review them when I get to them. I am reviewing all of the Thomas and Friends episodes. There are a lot of them, it's taking me some time. These episodes are from the 19th series, and I have some thoughts. So I'll discuss what it's like to have the episodes as a package, whether they flow together. There are actually some pretty cool things in between the episodes that I'll talk about in a moment. But before I get in with the actual episodes, I want to ask a question that somebody might know an answer to. Why are there British and American accents in the episodes? I'm aware that there have been US releases. I'm aware that the episodes, certainly earlier Thomas and Friends episodes, are not narrated by Ringo Starr in America. So I was aware that there were differences. But when I was watching this, I thought, okay, Thomas has got an American accent. It's the American release. I get it. But then there were characters with British accents. And I'm thinking, if you're going to make the effort to make it seem like it's set in America, with an American protagonist and other American trains, why would you then bring in British accents? It just means that it's confused. The episode itself is confused about where Sodor actually is and where it's based. So I'm confused as to why they decided to mix the accents, just pick one or the other. I don't understand, and I actually really didn't like that, and it really annoyed me. I'm not sure when that happens with Thomas and Friends, but I'm not there yet. But once I got over that, we do actually have some delightful stories that I was able to enjoy. The animation style, the CGI, it's not as good as the actual model railways, not at all. In fact, I almost hate the animation style because it's just not as good. It's not Thomas to me. But this is not a review of the animation style specifically, but I've never mentioned that before because I'm not there yet with the episodes, and I'm not really looking forward to getting there. However, we have several episodes here. The first one is Diesel's Ghostly Christmas, where Diesel is visited by spirits and they help him to realise that he needs to be kind to other people. And I thought it was pretty decent, and it wasn't too bad at all. This is the one I was looking forward to when we had the title of Thomas's Christmas Carol. I knew there'd be a kind of Scrooge, a Christmas Carol element to this, and I'm pleased that this was the first story. I think it worked very well. Diesel was a great character to have at the centre of this. When I review this episode separately, I will pick it apart in a bit more detail, but generally, I really liked it. The second story is Snow Place Like Home, which involves heavy snowfall and the dangers of going about in the snow and not taking care, which I think is a really important message for young children who might see snow and just run for it, and not pay attention to black ice and the dangers that can come with compacted snow and stuff. And we have a difference of opinions here. Not every train likes the snow. Some trains love the snow. I think it had a good balance to it. It's not a bad little narrative either. And then we have a Cranky Christmas, and this one focuses on this Christmas box. And Cranky, who is not a character I was aware of until I watched this. I'm not sure when Cranky, it's a crane. I'm not sure when he actually comes into Thomas and Friends, but it was a nice look at the character, and he does something to this box, this Christmas crate, but then he denies it or pretends he didn't drop it. And then somebody else might get the blame instead. And there's a lesson here about owning up to what you've done, being honest, not let other people feel bad for something that's your fault. Plus, there's the mystery of what's inside the Christmas crate. So I thought that was a fun narrative. Loved the mystery element. Very wintry, very festive, and some really good messages there too. And then we have the last one on the US release, which is the Beast of Sodor, which is basically about the abominable snowman. And I don't want to say too much more than that, but I liked it. I thought it was a decent narrative. The design of this apparent abominable snowman was pretty great. Um, a very wintry episode. There's a lot of snow in this special, in this collection, which works really well because I think the snow is beautiful. However, in the model railway Thomas, the original Thomas, I love the snow in that. It just looks like sherbet or something, which it might well be. I don't know how they did the snow, but it's nowhere near as good in these CGI episodes. However, it still looks wintry and I still generally like it. So we have not a bad mix of stories. They all tackle different things and I enjoyed watching those four. If I had to rank them, I guess I'd go best to worst, but none of them I would say are worst. But Diesel's Ghostly Christmas, then a Cranky Christmas, and then I'd say Snow Place Like Home and the Beast of Sodor, joint last. But really, they're all very good. As I said, there are bits in between, and there's this game where children are asked to remember certain things that happened or certain things they've just seen. And I wasn't expecting that, and I like that interactive element, and it helps to give the special something a little bit extra rather than just watching the episodes back to back by watching them on this, I assume, DVD release originally. Um, it gives it something a little bit different and makes it a bit more engaging and interactive. So I was really impressed with that. I thought it worked really well. In all, Thomas's Christmas Carol is a decent collection and one that I thought was pretty enjoyable, and I was rather happy to watch it.